Hello crafty friends, and thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I've got a video for you showing some different ways to do backgrounds with a printable design. You can of course print out the printable designs and fussy cut them and layer them on top of backgrounds, but I thought it would be fun to show these ideas for making one layer cards with printables. I'm using these Avery removable labels. It's important that they're removable so that you can use them as a mask and peel them off without damaging the printed image underneath. In this video, I'll be making some Christmas cards with the Carmen printable from Corbiere-Scott Designs. I pre-printed it onto one of the Avery removable label sheets and fussy cut each design out. I'm placing the cutout designs over the printable on a regular sheet of cardstock to mask off these designs so that I can do some background techniques. On Anne's website, there are lots of great printables that all come in an 8.5 by 11 sheet. They all come with 3 different designs on them to make 3 different cards from one sheet. You can find the link to her website in the description of this video and on any of my social media pages. For this last design, I had some trouble placing the cutout image, basically just due to the camera angle and where my head was looking. But it actually gave me a great chance to show how well this removable paper worked. I was able to peel it off and reposition the mask multiple times without damaging any of the image underneath. I'll be doing some ink blending on the backgrounds using distress oxides. This first round of colors is Stormy Sky, Chipped Sapphire, Dusty Concord, and Black Soot. I wanted a darker background for this first slimline image. For this one I was going for a dark wintry sky vibe, and I was going to splatter white on the background. Like I mentioned before, all of the printables on Corbiere-Scott Designs website come with 3 different variations of the image. It's really fun to be able to do techniques on one sheet of paper and come out with 3 different cards. She also has a wide variety of sentiments as well. Also, as I mentioned, it would definitely be easy to fussy cut the images from regular cardstock and just place them popped up on a background that you've designed as well. But I thought today it would be fun to show something different and show how to make some one-layer cards. I tend to use a lot of dimension when I'm making cards, but I've been sending more in the mail lately, especially due to the pandemic. So I thought it would be nice to make some that fit a little bit easier into the envelopes. I'm adding a little bit of the black soot around the edges just to give it a darker feel. You'll see I'm not being very careful, and I'm going outside the lines because I'll be cutting out the designs anyway. For the white splatter, I'll be using the secret weapon that Anne told me about. It's Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, and it is amazing. It stays opaque even when you put it over different colors or types of ink. I used to use a lot of white acrylic paint because it was cheap and easy, but I found that when I was splattering it on, after drying, or while it was drying, the white would pick up a lot of the color from underneath and it wouldn't stay crisp white. The Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White is fairly inexpensive. It's already at a perfect consistency that you don't have to water down, and it stays bright white. After finishing, I'm removing the mask, and you'll see that the image underneath is perfectly preserved so that I can do whatever I want for coloring. The masking paper worked really, really well, and I was able to remove it without damaging any of the cardstock underneath. The lines were still really crisp, and I was able to use Copic markers later to color in the flowers, the poinsettias. For the round design, I'm using cracked pistachio and peacock feathers on the background. I started out by ink blending over the mask by itself, and then I'm layering this Tim Holtz stencil over the top, and I'm using a little bit of the same 2 colors to stencil over the top. It gives a very subtle stenciled look underneath. And when I peeled away the paper, I again was left with a perfect image that I was able to Copic color later. For the last design, I'm using Spun Sugar, Picked Raspberry, and Dusty Concord. They're a little bit non-traditional for Christmas colors, which I think is really fun to do sometimes. I'm also planning to use some sparkles on the background for this card, so I thought it would give an almost fairy-like vibe with the pink and purple soft colors and some nice shimmery sparkles on the background. Here I realized that it was going to be a little bit tough to get up to the edges and not go on to the circle. I could have cut the circle out, but instead I just grabbed a little bit of the leftover masking paper and blocked off the circle that already had the stenciled ink design completed. Again, as before, it worked out perfectly, and I was able to then peel up the masking part later without damaging any of the circle or stenciled ink image underneath. Here I just went back through with my brushes to blend the ink a little bit better on the overlapping lines. For the next step, I used a stencil from Brutus Monroe and the Glitz glitter gel from Thermoweb and Gina K Designs in the color Iridescent. It dries clear and leaves a gorgeous iridescent sparkle glitter behind. With the soft pinks and purples, I really wanted that sort of fairy sparkle finish to this image. Typically when working with printables, I'd make a separate background and then place the images cut out over the top. But I really like how this came out, and I thought it looked really cool once you peel the mask off and you still have a one-layer card. I love all things sparkle and shine, especially for the holidays, and the effect that this gave me did not disappoint. I find it so satisfying to peel off a stencil once I'm done putting any kind of paste or glaze through it. Once I was done with the stenciling, I was able to easily remove the mask over the circle part, and like I mentioned before, there was no damage to the stenciled image or ink below. Then I was able to peel off the flower mask, and you can see that it leaves a perfect image that I can then color with markers later. If you wanted to, you could definitely color first and then mask it off and do the backgrounds. There's really no right or wrong way to do it, or right or wrong order. These are the final cards that I assembled from the backgrounds and stenciling techniques that I used today. I used embellishments and shaker elements from HAI Supply to complete these cards, including circle candies, stars, and clear jewels. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you try out some of these techniques. Have a great day.